Okay, Janice. Okay, there he is. All right. Good afternoon. It is 12:01. We're going to stand for the. What am I trying to say? The Pledge of Allegiance. Y'all have to excuse me. I had a tremendous headache all weekend. But anyway, God is good. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty, justice for all. Hey! For those of you who know about the mumps outbreak, they have drafted all of the EPIs to hell. No, I was trying to get out of there, but anyway, moving on. So I kind of didn't get to do my usual harassing of the members to make sure they sign up for their roles this morning because I was in training. Therefore, some of these members are signed up because I signed them up, not because they actually signed up. So they're not here. Therefore, somebody ding me. Our counter was supposed to be the Lisa, and I don't see her. Therefore, I can't think of your name. I'm so terrible this morning. Yeah.
Always asking his name, her name. Point to you, say your name.
You know who I'm talking about. Y'all know I do my kids and grandkids like that all the time. They be know who I'm talking about, though. Same thing with the timer. I don't see Sonia. Okay, thank you very much. Charlie, however, evaluated number 3. I have communicated with him, so I don't know where he is. Maybe he'll show up at some point before our third speaker starts. There he is! Okay. Everybody else is here. All right, now we'll get started. Now, Patricia, I meant to tell you that introduction that you put on the agenda. Well, I need to tell all of y'all this. Fritos Host does not print out the introductions that you type in there. Therefore, when you put that in there, you really need to print it out again and give it to your Toastmaster. Okay, if you want your Toastmaster to say that, because that's one of the things that Fritos Host does not do. It does not print out that part of the agenda. Anyway, what? That has nothing to do with. That has nothing to do with the evaluation. Okay, moving on. Now I'm going to move on to the Toastmaster. Our Toastmaster today is one of our newer Toastmasters, Aaron Padawa Evans, who will be representing us on Saturday night at the fall conference. Aaron, Toastmaster Aaron Padawa Evans, yay!
Thank you. You're welcome. Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody.
Seems like now that we got a little organized, we're going to have a great meeting today. And I would like to start that great meeting today by introducing our grammarian, who is going to come down and give us a fine word of the day. And that role is filled by Miss Jonna Jacobs.
Good Halloween. Today's word of the day is haunting. Ooh, nice effect. Haunting is an adjective, poignant and evocative, difficult to ignore or forget. The melodies were elaborate and of haunting beauty. Today, as we go through our speeches, see if you can use the word haunting, incorporate that into your language, and remind us of the spirit of the holiday. Thank you.
John. All right, that was great. I'll have to tell you guys about my haunting experience of the party this weekend I went to at a later date. I'd like to continue and move this meeting right along by having our Toastmaster Minute by one of our new Health Masters himself. Introduce you guys to Mr. Scott Gann.
Good afternoon. So today's 1 minute speech, I want to talk to something that haunts me all the time. Every time you get up here to speak, you need a topic, correct? How do you choose a topic? What are the 4 major things you need to have to choose a topic? They're unlimitable, right? There's no limit to what you can choose, but you must be knowledgeable. You must be confident. You must believe in what you're speaking. And you must know your audience. Without those 4 things, your speech will not be as effective. Knowledgeable, something you know a lot about. Believe it, be confident, and know your audience. Are you going to speak the same way here as you're going to speak at the Capitol? Probably not, but you should. Know those, love those, and you'll be successful. Thank you.
Thank you, Scott. Great job, as usual. All right, guys. For our first speaker, it is going to be given by a distinguished Toastmaster, Adrian Duncan. It is from the Competent Communication Manual. Get to the point, and it is called Call Me Purple, Adrian Duncan.
Oh, thank you, Thank you. Haunting me? Oh, is somebody haunting me? I doubt it. I want to tell you how you can change from red, green, blue to purple. If you notice, I always look different. This color that's happening today is because I was planning on going to a movie. I had to borrow $1. This was yesteryear, and now I'm turning purple because I still don't have $1. Anybody got $1? Well, I talked to the deer, and the deer had a buck, and he had given it away. I talked to the frog, and he said he had a greenback, and he had given it away. Wow. Haunting me are those things that are out of the ordinary. I went and talked to the skunk. Now, y'all know a skunk, right? If y'all can tell me about a skunk, anybody can tell me what color a skunk is?
Black and white.
That's halfway right. He is a striped kitty with a fluid drive. Does that haunt you? Well, he tried to get into the movie like I did. The problem was he only had 1 cent. And it was a bad one. Well, I talked to the duck, and he said, well, I'll tell you what, he said, I still don't have my money in my pocket, so he went down to the local bar. Now, Dave Rudney's the only one that could really enjoy this, because he went down to the local bar. He was trying to get one of those dollar loaf of bread. Y'all ever tried to do that? He went in and talked to the bartender, and he said, got any bread? That bartender looked at him, and he said, you're crazy. Get out of here. This is a local bar. Well, the duck turned purple. Anyway, he walked out and left the bar. He goes back in later on, and he said, got any bread? He still wanted to go to the movie, so he was asking for bread. That bartender told him, said, get out of here. I told you there's no bread. This is a local bar. The duck leaves. He goes. Then he turns green. He comes back in. He said, got any bread? That bartender said, you get out of here and don't come back. So if you come back, I'm going to nail your bill to the top of this table, this bar table. Top. Duck was gone long. He left. Long, gone, long time, long. After a while, he comes back in, sits down, looks up at the bartender, said, got any nails? Bartender said, no! He said, he had that look like, do you got any bread? I think that duck turned more purple, and he changed the difference. Now, if you notice, I look a little bit different today. Had y'all been with some of the programs that we've been lately, I started out with a green, I turned red, I turned blue, and Friday, the best thing y'all could have seen was me in purple. Y'all missed a treat. Anyway, the most important part of what we do, when we don't do what we think we can do, should do, ought to do, we usually change colors. Notice when you first started Toastmasters, what color were you? Most of you were orange. Halfway right. What's the other color? Green. Because we started out green. And unless we talk to the duck for a bill, unless we talk to the deer for a buck, frog skin for a greenback, frog skin, or my thing is I started looking at George Washington. Anybody know George Washington? He's huh?
First president.
Yeah, well, he is, well, he's the one with the greenback, right? Most important, I think, is start looking for something higher, bigger, and better. When I started with Toastmasters, green was not a color, it was total. I was green as your collard greens. I was as green as some of your other, what do you call those? Collards? And I didn't know that there was a choice until I met someone like Dave Rudney. I got him involved in something that he says has helped him a lot. Y'all should have been with us on Friday at the proclamation. Why? Because something different happened that's not been before. Those individuals that were there were not green. They were not yellow. They were more purple. Anybody know what purple color represents? Red and blue. Royalty! Those of you that showed up turned from green to red, blue, into royalty. I'll tell you a secret. If you will stay with Toastmasters 10 minutes each day, if you get up 10 minutes earlier and read the Word and study your Toastmasters 10 minutes a day and look at some of the individuals that have become successful internationally with Toastmasters, you'll be surprised how quickly you can turn from green, red, blue, and most of all, purple, which is royalty. For the first time in my lifetime, I had an opportunity to meet some individuals this week and the past month in the governor's office that I've never talked to before. Why? Because I turned from green to red, yellow, and now into purple. If you will step out by faith one day at a time and simply look how you can grow and develop by meeting other people. When I've communicated with these individuals, I ask these individuals to do, I would say, Dave, would you say special favors? Yeah. They've all said to me, what do you want? What do you need? And why? I simply told them I was a Toastmaster willing to help people become a better leader, a better communicator, and those individuals out there that you made pictures of last week, they simply want to recognize the governor's officers, workers, as someone special. I told them specifically, you all are looking marvelous. I said to them, to me, you are individuals working for our state that are of royalty. Mr. Toastmaster, try it out. Good luck.
Very much, sir. Thank you. Great job, Adrian. Always makes me think of the haunting time for all of us that we had our first speech up in front of the lectern. So thank you. Great speech. Would like to keep this moving with this great meeting that we're having today with our second speaker, who is going to be filled by Patricia Miner. She's going to be speaking from the Competent Communication Manual. Her speech is entitled The Six-Step Method. Six-Step Method. Thank you.
Good afternoon, my fellow Toastmasters. Thank you. How many of you have ever had your blood pressure taken by a show of hands? I'm going to call down a guinea pig. Let me see, who do I want that guinea pig? It's Ashley.
Ashley, Ashley, come on down. Ashley, come on down.
As Ashley comes down, what I want you all to do is just pay attention. I'm going to check Miss Ashley's blood. Now we're going to talk about it is very we need to have our blood pressure. Walk around with blood pressure for a long. I'm sorry. I should have asked for the mic, lapel mic. But sorry about that. Thank you. Technical difficulties. But the normal reading, as we have all often known, is that our blood pressure should be less than 140/90. Anything greater than 140/90 is considered high blood pressure. So that's enough education I want to tell you about blood pressure. Now I want to get to the meat of my speech here. I want to talk to you about the 6-step method. And the 6-step method is just a technique or a protocol that was developed to increase their awareness not only to our medical professionals but to our community people about the proper techniques in having your blood pressure checked. And the reason why it was developed is because over a period of time we learned that even though, unfortunately, we are healthcare providers, we don't necessarily always engage in the proper technique of checking your blood pressure. And so one way that we can assure that your is being checked correctly is we can teach you. Since you're the one having your blood pressure, we can teach you. Now, Ashley came up. Ashley been paying attention to somebody because Ashley sat in this chair the proper way. I was hoping Ashley didn't sit in this chair that proper way, or anybody who sat in this chair, I hope they didn't sit the proper way. But most of the time when people come in and have a pressure check, they sit like this. They cross their legs. They may be slumped over. But our 6-step method tells us, and this is what you can do. I want this to be an haunting speech for you. The 6-step method tells us we need to sit in the chair. We need to place our feet flat on the floor, not cross our feet at the ankle, which most of the time people do. It's just out of habit. We need to rest our back straight up against the chair. We need to put our elbow on the table, and it needs to be at the level of the heart. And only the upper part of the arm needs to be at the level of the heart. The whole arm doesn't have to. And then we need to just relax and be quiet. I don't know, I've oftentimes gone to the having my blood pressure checked at the doctor's office, and the nurse is talking to me. So we really don't need to be talking. And lastly, we need to ask about our cuff size. I see this done so many times. We'll try to make that cuff work, even though if it don't fit. But that is not the proper thing to do because you can get false readings. If your cuff size is too large, your blood pressure could be too low. If the cuff size is too little, then your blood pressure could be falsely high. So it's important for you, as you go to the doctors, I'm sure we all go to the doctor, and if you go into the doctor, you're going to have your blood pressure checked. So when you sit down in the chair, make sure that you're sitting straight back with your back up against the chair, feet flat on the floor, elbow on the table at heart level, and don't hesitate to ask about your cuff size. If you feel like that cuff is just too tight before it's even been pushed up, then ask them about it. I can guarantee you that they probably won't like it, but it's your reading. You don't want to be on blood pressure medication because of a false elevated blood pressure. 6-step method. Let it be haunting to you.
Great job. Great job. Little housekeeping. Great job, great job. We all keep your blood pressure checked. So important, so important. We want to conclude our speakers with number 3 speaker, who is a distinguished Toastmaster. And I'd like to thank a friend of mine as well. It's going to be Philip Borden. He's going to talk from the Interpretive Reading Manual, and it's from Interpreting Poetry. And the title of his speech is There's Daggers in Men's Smiles. Don't I know it? There's daggers in men's... It's okay. That's the joke, people. That's the joke. There's daggers in men's smile. Philip Borden.
Thank you. My presentation today, like the previous interpretive reading that I did, is by William Shakespeare. It will not be the last presentation by William Shakespeare that you hear me do. Because this is a little bit of a shorter selection that I'll be presenting for you, I have a little bit more time to set the introduction up for you. As many of you may know, I was an English major in college. My undergraduate degree is in English. One of the things that I have kept with me since that time is my love of Shakespeare and reading Shakespeare for entertainment. I've read everything that William Shakespeare has ever written, even some things that scholars don't agree that he wrote or helped collaborate to write. I've definitely read and studied all 38 plays that scholars do largely agree that he wrote multiple times, and many of them, and read and studied them. I've also read several biographies and other books about William Shakespeare. I can tell you that no author has ever adequately described William Shakespeare's greatness or genius. I don't believe it's possible to do that. I was trying to think this morning of an analogy to where I believe William Shakespeare stands in history. If you think in terms of poetry, in terms of words written on a page, writing poetry, William Shakespeare is the greatest poet in the history of the English language by far. if you think of a great dramatist in terms of character, setting, scene, plot, all the elements that make up great drama and great playwriting, William Shakespeare is the greatest at that by far. For both of those very different skills to be mastered by the same person, since baseball is on TV lately, I happen to think of this analogy that I believe describes it well. Imagine if the greatest pitcher in the history of baseball, not just a good pitcher, the greatest ever in the history of the game, and the greatest batter for batting average was the same person. Can you imagine one player being that head and shoulders above everyone else in his field? I believe that's where William Shakespeare stands as a writer. One of the reasons that I'm explaining all of this is that you may know that many of the lines of William Shakespeare's plays are written in iambic pentameter. The presentation that I'll be bringing you today is from one of my favorite plays by William Shakespeare. It is the tragedy of Macbeth, possibly my favorite of his plays. The main character, Macbeth, in this play delivered 5 splendid soliloquies, all that have a very clear beginning and ending, all written in iambic pentameter, all, I believe, very much written as poetry to be read as words on a page, at the same time to be lines delivered by a character. A soliloquy is when a character thinks out loud without talking to other characters for the benefit of the audience to know what's going on in his mind. This particular presentation that I'll be bringing you is his most famous soliloquy. You may know it as the dagger speech. In this particular speech, Macbeth has heard the witch's prediction that he will become king of Scotland. He has become very eager to make this happen quickly. The only person standing in his way is the venerable old current king of England, King Duncan. Macbeth and his wife have hatched a plot wherein he will murder King Duncan in his sleep. This is the darkest and grisliest and most haunting of all of Shakespeare's plays. You may know that in this particular scene, Macbeth, with the weight of this task in front of him, sees a vision of an imaginary dagger hovering in the air. He does what you or I would probably do with that vision. He speaks to it in iambic pentameter. He then turns and makes some other observations about other things going on in the night. Here from Act 2, Scene 1 of the tragedy of Macbeth is the dagger speech. Is this a dagger which I see before me, the handle toward my hand? Come, let me clutch thee. I have thee not, and yet I see thee still. Art thou not, fatal vision, sensible to feeling as to sight, or art thou but a dagger of the mind, a false creation, proceeding from the heat-oppressed brain? I see thee yet, in form as palpable as this which now I draw. Thou marshallest me the way that I was going, and such an instrument I was to use. Mine eyes are made the fools of the other senses, or else worth all the rest. I see thee yet, and on thy blade and dudgeon gouts of blood, which was not so before. There's no such thing. It is the bloody business which informs thus to mine eyes. Now, or the one-half world. Nature seems dead. And wicked dreams abuse the curtained sleep. Witchcraft celebrates pale Hecate's offerings, and withered murder, alarmed with his sentinel, the wolf, whose howls his watch. The Tarquin's ravishing strides toward his design moves like a ghost. Thou sure and firm set earth, hear not my steps, which way they walk, for fear the very stones prate of my whereabout and take the present horror from the time. Whiles I threat, he lives. Words to the heat of deeds, too cold breath gives. I go, and it is done. The bell invites me. Hear it not, Duncan. For it is a knell that summons thee to heaven or to hell.
You did a great job, and what I will say to that, my fella, but soft, what light through yonder window breaks. It is the east, and Juliet is the sun.
Lord, what fools these mortals be.
Exactly. Great job, great job. Had to have a little fun. I, myself, a big fan of Shakespeare, so that touched me right in the soul. All right. Great job, everybody. It's been a great meeting so far, so let's see how everybody did with, nope, yep, I lied. What we want to do first is we want to have our table topics, and that is going to be hosted by the one and only, the Brandy Roberts.
Thank you and good afternoon. And Philip, you really haunted me when that bell came on with your speech, but great speech. So today is not only Halloween, but we are in the midst of an intense election season. Side note, Hillary and Trump costumes are sold out. So as you know, they will be haunting the city tonight. So last week in Arkansas, early voting began with the bang. You already know marijuana was taken off the bill. Hillary Clinton's emails, need I not say more, and also Trump's video has been. So what are you doing to take advantage of early voting? Have you taken advantage of early voting? Why or why not, and why is this important to you? In 1 to 2 minutes, Dave Rudney.
Thank you, Madam Topic Master, fellow Toastmasters. It is important to vote. Don't you think that your vote could make a difference? I think the votes make a difference. I think every vote counts. I have registered to vote, although I haven't voted yet. Next week is Election Day. Next week is a big day, November 7th, 2016. November 7th, as you know, November 8th. Tuesday's the 8th. You can tell I'm very aware of what's going on here. I do know, it's haunting, I do know that next Tuesday, the 8th, is Advanced Stroke Life Support Training Day. Aaron will be attending Advanced Stroke Life Support. We've got 36 EMS and nursing professionals from across the state coming to take part in this event. It's very important. I think Scott Gann will be there as well, which is exciting. So that is Election Day. I'm not going to be able to vote on Election Day. I need to vote in advance. Over the weekend, I typed in my name on the early voting website. I forget what it is, and it tells me where I need to vote, which is down the street from where I live, at a church. I figured it out. I will be voting tomorrow. It's on my calendar. Tomorrow. Have you registered to vote? Anyone not registered to vote, raise your hand. You're all registered to vote. Raise your hand if you're going to vote early. All right, so pretty good. So it looks like a good mix of folks. I invite you, no matter what it takes, if you vote early or if you vote on Election Day, vote. Your vote counts. Remember what happened with Al Gore and with George Bush in 2000? That was a problem. We don't want that hanging chads problem. We want to avoid stuff so that there's a clear and decisive victory for one side or the other. So no matter who you vote for, the key is feel the power on Election Day or before and vote. Madam Topic Master.
Thank you, Dave. So same question, early voting. Are you planning to vote? Why or why not? And why is voting important or not? If you think voting is not important, please talk about that as well. Ms. Joyce Biddle.
Madam Topics Master, what a great question. Of course voting is important. Especially for someone of my ethnicity. You know, we fought and died to vote in our history. So naturally, I'm voting. And it pains me when I talk to the young people and they tell me they're not voting. Don't you know that we died to vote? We died for it, privilege. We got to vote. Even if you don't like the candidate, vote for somebody. Go in there and pick somebody. If you don't like Hillary, you don't like Trump, vote for the Green Party. Vote for the Libertarian. I don't care. Vote for somebody. Don't give up the right. You should always vote. Don't give up your right. You have nothing to complain about if you don't vote for anybody.
Out of respect for time, I turn this back over to our Toastmaster.
Thank you, Brittany.
You're welcome.
You know, after seeing Joyce and Brandy walk around, I think the next table topic should be high heels and the risk associated with. So I'm just telling you that next time I'm Topic Masters, that's my topic. So be ready. Dave, I'll let you even answer that too. All that being said, now it has been a great meeting, as usual, that we always have great meetings here. Let's hear how everybody did, and we're going to do that by having a general evaluator come down, and that role is filled by the one and only Ashley Clark. Here, kitty, 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 kitty.
All right. That was very haunting. Disturbing. Good afternoon. Today I will be giving a general evaluation of how the meeting has been going, and to my knowledge it's been going pretty great. We started just 1 minute, late, but we've been moving along here. So the next portion of the meeting, I guess I would introduce the evaluators who will be evaluating these wonderful speeches we've been hearing today. And that first evaluator will be one and only Joyce Biddle.
I am going to evaluate Adrian on being purple. What's the name of the speech now? Call me Purple Adrian. Adrian was coming from the Competent Communication Manual, Get to the Point. In this particular project, he was supposed to do have a general purpose and a specific purpose. My conclusion was that his general purpose was to address Toastmasters, and then his specific purpose was to inspire Toastmasters to complete their journey. Was that not what you were trying to do? Okay. And in your speech, you obtained that by using color. And I thought that was an interesting way to do that. You use all different kinds of colors, green and purple mostly. And you are always confident, and you never use notes, except the time that you came up here with a piece of paper and confused Barbara to no end. I've always remembered that, because Barbara was going, "What is he looking at?" But anyway, you got to do that again, because I thought that was too funny. But anyway, and it asked, what could a speaker have done differently? And I thought, there's nothing you could have done differently, because it was a great speech, and I thought it was the best, one of the best presentations you've ever done, except for the one when you was purple in that hilarious speech. What did I like about the presentation is the use of color was a great use of illustration. Madam Jerry Bayway.
Good job. All right, as for the evaluator number 2, who will be evaluating Miss Patricia's speech, will be the one and only Nicole Johnson. Come forward.
Good afternoon, fellow Toastmasters and distinguished guests, but most importantly to you, Patricia. Your speech title was very interesting, and your speech topic was also very valuable. A very good choice for your topic and title. Your points, the 6 steps that you gave, were very informative and something that I know that I'll probably remember until the end of time, until my end of time. And thank you. I believe also that it was relevant for the audience. It's very appropriate. We all go to the doctor, so it's something easy. It was 6 simple steps that we can take with us here on out as we go to each doctor visit to make sure that our blood pressure is taken appropriately. Your opening was very engaging. You engaged the audience right away because you immediately asked for a volunteer, so that was good. And throughout the body of your speech, you exuded confidence. You exuded confidence, and you appeared to be very confident about your speech title and topic. And one area of improvement that I would suggest is obtaining the lapel mic beforehand, of course. You gave great eye contact, and you moved around, and you used prompts, and that was in place, so it showed that you were prepared. However, that having that lapel mic, beforehand would have made it much more better. And also, I would suggest working on your transitions, because you use a lot of crutch words, as I have done, of course, in delivering this evaluation. Overall, it was a great speech. I really enjoyed it, and I look forward to more speeches from you. Thank you all.
Next, we will have our evaluator number 3, Mr. Charlie Simpson, evaluating. Which was Philip Borden's speech.
There's daggers and men smiles. This particular speech was interpreting poetry. The speaker's role was to present a poem using vocal techniques to capture the imagery and rhythm of a poem and to convey its meanings and emotions to the audience. And coming to Toastmasters really is opening up my eyes that there are different ways of speaking and being able to speak on different topics. And so this was very interesting for me to see you actually break down and interpret a poem. The thoughts and emotions utilized were great. Did the speaker understand the poem? Yes, you came up and gave the history behind the poem, so very well educated on Shakespeare. Did the speaker make effective use of pauses, rhythm, and cadence? I would say yes in that category as well. I think there were certain rhythms that could have been articulated differently, with more feeling and possibly speeding up certain cadences as well. When I think of a Shakespeare poem, I always think of the drama and the and the falling out and just all the different emotions behind Shakespeare. And so I'm not sure if that's your personality or not, but just being able to add more of that drama into it, I would have thought could have articulate or brought a little bit more life to it. Did the speaker avoid sing song rhythm? Yes. What kind of eye contact was great? Was he prepared? Yes. What did I like about the presentation? Well projected and very organized. I think with the visual as well, I don't know if you could have actually brought a real dagger. Not sure how effective that would have been, but to sprinkle a little red down the end when you get to that part or something creative, I don't know, but great speech, very haunting.
Yes, I would agree that overall the speeches today were very interesting, inspiring, and moving. So with that being said, I would like to turn it back over to Mr. Toastmaster. Grammarian. Grammarian is next. I changed that. Our grammarian, Miss Jana Jacobs.
Role of the grammarian is not only to introduce the word of the day, but to tabulate how many times that word was used, incorporated into the speeches and evaluations. The word haunting was used 12 times. Good job, Toastmasters. I believe every person that spoke today used that word of the day, incorporated it into whatever they were talking about, which shows a great ability to think on the fly and adjust as necessary. The other role of the grammarian is to keep track of the King's English. I think everybody did a great job of that. I liked that the speakers were all very well prepared, but I was especially impressed that the evaluators very clearly demonstrated that they were doing some active listening today so that they could give a good evaluation of the speakers they were asked to listen to. Good job, Toastmasters. I hand it back over to the next person who's coming up here.
It's me again. My job wasn't over. Good job, Miss Jacobs. And now we will have our all-counter, Miss Johnson, Delisa Johnson. Oh, Alexa. Oh, well. You guys know her.
Thank you. Good evening. I think everyone did an excellent job this afternoon. There were 5 ahs, 2 from Speaker 2, 1 from the General Evaluator, and 2 from Evaluator number 1. So we had 5 ahs.
Now we will have our timers report by Dr. Mukasa.
Good afternoon. One more haunting. Time is life. Difficult to ignore, right? And we are giving time and life to each other here. The timers report says this was perfect. No disqualifications either under or over. And of note was the Toastmaster minute, 60 seconds.
Now, once again, I would say overall that this has been a great meeting, very productive. We caught up on time and everything has been running pretty smoothly with a few technical difficulties, but this has been a great meeting. And now I will turn it back over to our presiding officer, Mrs. Biddle, Toastmaster Biddle. Come on now.
Let's give Ashley another hand. As I told you, I wanted the newer members to take on roles so you all learn how to do these things. Okay? Speaking of which, you all know I sent out an email last week for you all to sign up for November and December. So if you have not sent me an email, please do so today, because the deadline was it not today? Today! If you have not sent me an email back today, I will sign you up. All right. All right. Now, we're going to recognize our guest. Our guest in the back. Now, I know Jackie's been coming a lot, but she's still a guest until she joins. Okay. Now, as you all know, we need to elect a president. We did have one nomination, and that was for Alexa. So I guess my question to Alexa is, want to be president? Are you willing to do that? Well, the other officers would be your backup. Okay? So, are you willing to do that? And I guess my other question is, because it does take time. So the other question is your workplace going to allow you to do that? Because you have to be here to open the meeting as presiding officer, and you have to close the meeting. Probably about 15 minutes early, and stay a few minutes late. Yeah. That, and you also have to take the time you might have to do other duties. Well, officer meetings are not necessarily during the day, but that's, we have been having the officers meeting outside of office hours. Okay.
I have a question.
That's a good question. I mean, is anybody in the room thinking about it, or do y'all have somebody in mind? I mean, what? Because we can't keep letting it lag, because we got to do something.
We can't expect you to.
Well, which is what I'm currently doing. We could. Do you have anybody in mind?
Aaron Padua Evans.
And I would be humbled and would love to do that, but with my however, my sweet license administrator, Scott Gann, probably could do it.
All right, Scott. All right, Scott. Are you accepting the nomination? All right. Scott has accepted the nomination. Do I have a okay, we have a we have a motion and a wait, is that a motion? And that's a second. All right, we have properly moved and second that Scott be our president. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Scott R. Gann is our new president. Okay, now, and he's purple. Okay, now I have one quick announcement. The District 43 Fall Conference is this weekend, and Aaron will be representing us in the Human Speech Contest on Saturday. There's also a district business meeting on Saturday afternoon, which includes all the presidents and VPEs of the clubs in the district. So technically, since you're now elected president, you should be there. Do you think you can be there for the business meeting? Yeah. Okay. The business meeting, I think, is at 5 o'clock. Wait a minute. Somebody hand me that. The business meeting is at, no, the business meeting is at 3 o'clock. The business meeting is at 3 o'clock on Saturday. So you don't necessarily, to attend the business meeting, you do not have to sign up for the conference. You can just be there for the business meeting. Philip will take care of that, he's our secretary. Philip will take care of signing him up as president. That way, when you would have to sign up at the credentialing desk when you get there on Saturday to get your proxy thing to vote, because you have to have it to vote at the meeting. So, and I'll get with you between 9 and Friday, so you know what to do. Okay. You've been in contact with Craig about the conference.
To do the pre-stuff and then...
Okay. Does anybody want to attend the conference or attend the thing so you can see him compete? If you want to attend the dinner to see, you don't have to eat. You can just attend the competition. You can just come up on Saturday night and see the competition. Well, no, you can't bring in McDonald's in the dinner. I don't remember how much that is. I have to go look.
15?
No, it's more than that. It's like 35 or something like that. It's a dinner dance. It's a black tie dinner dance. But I will let you know how much it is. Anyway, but that's at the dinner actually starts at 6, but the competition is not till 8:30. Okay. So if anybody wants to attend that, let me know, because there might be a cutoff already on actually attending the dinner. But if you just want to come to the competition, you can, and you just sit in the back and not be a part of the dinner. Okay? Just let me know, and I'll get in touch with Paul Outlaw, because he's the chairman of the whole thing. All right? All right, that's it.
Thank you.